y'all, I'm Leah Lawrence.
And I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And you are listening to a very special episode of the Southern Spirits Podcast, where our friends are going to be telling us Southern spooky stories of the macabre, creepy, and strange.
And we're all going to drink.
Woo!
Woo! Woo! We'll go right ahead. Intro it.
Alright, so what's going to happen is we're calling this series the Southern Sampler because you never know what you're going to get. And you never know when this is going to show up. We might drop this in a week and not have one for another 3 weeks, or we might have 2 or 3 in a row. We're just going to give them to you as we record them. And basically what's going to happen is we're going to have our friends on the podcast, and they're going to tell us a story that we've never heard, including shots in the dark, and we're all going to have a good time and drink.
At least I've never heard it.
Well,
Leah's
I might have heard it.
But Leah, tell them who's here.
Today we have my friend Aleah and her beautiful wife, Amberly, and they are the Bridges.
Yay! Everybody clap for them. Yay! Welcome. Say hello.
Hello.
Hey, y'all.
She said hey, y'all.
I think you're taking my tagline.
Sorry.
I don't know about
I'm
that.
from the county.
Y'all say your name so they can distinguish your voices.
I'm Aleah.
And I'm Amberly.
Well, y'all welcome.
Welcome.
It's good to be here.
And for these episodes, we're just gonna drink whatever they got to pick. It's already stuff that we've had, so we're all just kind of drinking whatever we want, and we're not gonna go through anything.
We're trying to get rid of all of the stuff that we have bought for this podcast. We honestly don't drink that much unless we're recording. So
yeah, and we interrupted Aleah. Sorry. What are you drinking?
We're using the Elizabeth vodka.
yes,
And I made me and Leah lemon drops with it.
and they are delicious.
Mm-hmm. They are really good. I'm just drinking Tito's and cranberry, and I already had a Claude Mays Alabama style, but I finished it. So, Amberly, what are you drinking?
I don't remember what it's called. It's blueberry.
It's
What
the
is it
Midnight Moon Blueberry Moonshine.
called? On ice.
Ooh.
And it's really good.
It's dangerous.
She's fancy.
It is really good, though. All right, so what do we do now, Leah?
All right. Well, I think that we should go into the story straight away. And I think Aleah's going to be telling it, and then Amber has some personal stories to tell about the entity that they're going to be talking about. So take it away, Aleah. We're all ears.
Woo!
All right. So we are telling the story of Aunt Jenny Johnson. She is fairly local to where we're at. She was born Louisa Elizabeth Jane Bates on January 22nd in 1886. She's often described as a beautiful blue-eyed half Cherokee or a beautiful blue-eyed farm
Jesus,
girl.
What did you hit over there? We're having some technical difficulties. It's going to be okay, though.
Drinky's over there hitting the microphone stand.
Sorry.
She's drinking it straight. She married Willis Brooks Jr.
Wait. Back up. She's either blue-eyed, half Cherokee, or what?
or a blue-eyed farm girl.
Can it be both?
I mean,
It can be all
maybe.
of
She's
them.
also either from Kentucky or Walker County.
I'm going to go Walker County on this one.
Well, I mean, she lived in Winston, or the edge of Winston and Lawrence, so I'm leaning. One of them was from Kentucky, one of them was from Walker. We're not sure which. Okay. So she was either from Kentucky or Walker County, and she married Willis Brooks Jr., who was 20 years older than her, and she was only 14.
Are we talking Walker County, Alabama?
Yes.
That
Okay,
is
well-
creepy and young, y'all.
That makes
Yeah.
that makes sense, though. It's Walker
So
County,
thankful that we were not born in 1886.
14 years old, and he was how much older than her?
20 years. So he was I think he was actually 35. I think he was 21 years older than her.
That is a pedophilic little motherfucker right there.
I agree.
Not okay.
Watch it.
Not okay.
So they either had 8, 9, or 10 children, depending on which source you read.
I'm going to go 10.
Yeah, I went 10.
Go big or go home.
And they lived on...
I didn't know it was causing it, y'all.
Apparently not.
Oh, that pregnancy's just catching around here.
Something in the water.
It's sperm.
We don't have to worry about that.
Christ.
They lived on Byler Road in Bankhead National Forest. Now, I was always under the assumption that they lived on Byler Road in Moulton, Alabama. It's not.
No,
it's
ma'am.
one of the... I actually looked this up today. I learned something new. It is the oldest public road still in use, and it runs from the Tennessee River in Cortland, Alabama, to the Black Warrior River in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
So that's pretty far, y'all.
That's a real long road.
So
they lived on that whole road?
Yeah, they took up the whole road.
Thing?
No, so they lived near the county line between Winston and Lawrence County.
So back up in the Bankhead.
Now what is Bankhead National
Right.
Forest, or William Bankhead National Forest, I believe. Which is just the creepiest fucking place on earth.
It is not that creepy.
It is. Me and one of our old high school friends, Amanda Hill, was telling us.
No last names, please.
Sorry. We have too many
Which
Amandas
one?
in our life.
I was going to say, we grew up with like 12 Amandas. I'm sorry.
We graduated.
You have to
we-
differentiate.
We literally graduated with 4.
I was Amanda for most of my high school years because my best friend in high school was named Amanda, and we favored. So one was Amanda and one was Amber, and we answered to both of them.
Well, I had, in our senior year of high school, a teacher thought me and Amanda Wood were the same person. She was walking around with like gauges in her ears, and Miss Hudson didn't know. Or no, it wasn't gauges in her ears. It was like a nose ring. And Miss Hudson couldn't tell us apart. And she was like, "Where did you put your nose ring?" And I was like,
This is my life.
"Hey,
You were
When these people get together, we start telling
super
stories,
pale,
and other
Amanda
stories
has like
start
beautiful
happening.
olive skin tones.
but she couldn't tell us apart." And I like.
Y'all look nothing
We
alike.
don't at all. And she just came up to me and she's like, "I know you have a nose piercing." And I was like, "I don't know you, A. This is the first day
and
of
B,
senior
my
year."
Baptist grandmother would kill me.
And my respiratory therapist mother would kill me. Do you know how hard it is to do a PFT with a hole in your nose?
Lord.
I'm not kidding, y'all. Anytime we hang out, we start talking about one thing, and we end up on something else.
It's called Rabbit Trails.
This minisode may be longer than our regular episodes. So
Sorry,
I'm
y'all.
sorry.
Sorry.
But here we go.
Okay.
So Bankhead is apparently creepy AF, bro.
We were saying that it's basically the Bermuda Triangle of Alabama. So some creepy shit goes on up there. But anyway, we'll get to that later. So, Winston County was known as the Free State of Winston County because they attempted to secede from Alabama during the Civil War.
They did secede.
Did they secede? But then they came back, right?
Well, I mean, once everybody was back part of the Union,
But they
had to
were
be.
very against Alabama's secession from the United
The
States.
Union.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So they're like super proud about it because I was
They are too.
I was researching a dock because we have
good.
Winston County is one of the counties that the lake that my grandmother's lake house is on, like borders. So we were looking for a dock, and one of the dock companies is called like Free State Docks or something
Yeah.
like that. Like they're
The Free
super
State
proud
of
about
Winston
it.
is a big deal, especially in 4th grade when you've got to do Alabama history. You learn
my
all about the
favorite.
Free State.
Yeah.
I just didn't know that Alabama had a county that was part of the Northern aggression.
It was actually from what I read, a lot of northern Alabama was very anti-Civil War because they saw it, not necessarily because they were like good people or like it was more because they thought that the fight was like it was a poor man fighting a rich man's fight. Because
Well,
the
that's
rich-
every war.
Yeah, so because there was all kind of loopholes that, like, if you had a certain number of slaves, you didn't have to fight. So all these poor people were having to fight, so they were very against it.
So that the rich guys could keep their slaves.
Yes.
Yes.
So Willis Brooks was a Northern sympathizer during the Civil War. They possibly housed deserters, and a lot of places state that they ran like a tavern or an inn, and they would actually house deserted soldiers.
Soldiers.
Yeah,
I'm
soldiers.
fine with it.
So during the time period, there were 2 laws in place. One was, pretty much any able-bodied man had to fight. That was a draft. And then the other one was you had to pay taxes. And if you couldn't afford taxes, you had to give your crops or livestock to the war effort. So they had a home guard that was made up of men that were basically too weak to fight, like too old, too young, or sick or something. So they were running around the mountains enforcing all these people to give their crops and their money and their children to go fight in a war that nobody around there cared about.
Ooh.
So, in 1863, right smack dab in the middle of the Civil War, the Home Guard showed up at the house, and they hung Willis Brooks and then shot the oldest son, John, trying to save his father.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
And they shot him for being a sympathizer.
There's actually, like, depends on what story you read. It was either for being a sympathizer or because John wasn't in the war, because he was, like, 17, we think. So, but...
Well, did they have age limits then?
I would assume a 17-year-old would be called to fight back then.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Yeah,
marrying
that's
off their
what I'm thinking.
14-year-old daughters.
They're
Well, women
recorded.
didn't count. The men couldn't die.
They're nothing back then.
They're recorded drummer boys as young as like 13.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 17 was able-bodied, manly enough to do whatever.
I mean, they're pretty much a man
That
by
is
then.
not what we're talking about.
That's what happened in my head.
So both of them are killed, and it's Jenny lowered her husband's body, placed him next to their son's body, and then made every child, including the infant Henry, place their hands in the blood and swear a blood oath that every member of the Home Guard would be killed before they laid their mother to rest.
Oh, that is creepy as
Yeah.
fuck.
So,
Aunt Jenny.
yeah, Aunt Jenny's a little crazy. So,
Girl.
Look, you shouldn't have killed her husband.
well, I mean, I agree. But,
And her oldest son.
yeah, I mean,
And the son, yes.
that would be like, anyway. So, Jenny and Mac, which was the oldest boy next to John, killed, or they're said to have killed the first member of the guard, who is also like the head of the Home Guard. They shot him from his horse, dragged his body into the woods to saw off his head and bring it home in a sack.
Shit.
Yeah. And your shot in the dark question is, what did she do with the head?
Oh, fuck.
So,
All right.
A.
Hold on. Hold on. We need to make sure that we're on the same page. Are we going to collaborate?
Yes, we
Okay,
have to
we're
have
not
the
gonna-
same answer.
Okay, so Leah and I will have the same answer. Is what's happening. It's us against you. Is what
Okay.
we're just. Everybody's on the same page here. Okay.
Okay.
We're good.
All right, what did she do with the head? A. Turn it into a mask. B.
No.
Nail
no.
it.
So,
Nail it to a tree in her yard. Or C. Make his skull into a soap dish.
okay. Do you think that she nailed it to a tree and an old hill woman came by?
Old hill woman.
Do you think?
I mean, that could happen. But I'm feeling the soap dish because it's very homes and gardens, very southern living to me.
It's like, she could
They
probably.
were
sit down
very
and-
into home and garden back
She
then.
could like
Yeah.
grindstone it down or something.
But I don't
Or
know.
turn it.
The mask thing made me go.
I think it's a mask.
don't-
Just because I want to think of her as being like a mascot.
Oh
Their
my
husband's head.
goodness.
Or their son's head.
No, it's very Leatherface to me. I don't
Yeah.
know. But I mean, nailing it to a tree, we've talked about this before. Nailing a head to a tree is real difficult.
Yeah. Is it through the ear?
Is it through the cheek? I don't know.
Right. So I think we should just go soap dish.
Soap dish?
Soap dish.
Soap dish.
Soap dish.
Oh,
Hell yeah!
You can't fool the foolers over here. We do this every week.
yeah,
Alright.
yeah.
All
All right,
Maybe-
what are we
maybe sh-
shooting?
You are shooting cat head honeysuckle vodka.
Maybe you should have helped me.
I think we have
come up
every
with
liquor
answers,
so far.
Amberly.
I
Well, no,
may
I mean-
have.
Well,
'Cause you
see,
didn't.
the
I
thing
didn't.
is-
I'm sorry.
The thing is, you did good with the first one, but if the actual answer is incredibly ridiculous, you have to make the other two.
I thought all
Incredibly
three of those are
ridiculous.
incredibly ridiculous.
The nailing it to a tree is not. That's just common
I put that
practice.
one in there because
Right.
y'all had already
You
had
knew
it.
what was up.
Yeah.
You knew what was up.
Okay, here we go. Oh my goodness.
Hey, we made these shot glasses.
You
did.
did.
Well, you sat and watched me make them.
Hey,
We did.
what's yours is mine, right? Because we're married.
What's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours. But my labor is mine. You're equal to your labor.
She,
Yes,
I
it
tried
is.
to tell
Not
Mitch
a
that the
divine.
whole time, and he does not
Oh,
understand.
Mitch takes credit for everybody's labor.
No, I don't take credit. We're
You,
just
you
married
just
and
say
we share
thank
everything.
you to anybody that says you did a good job to anyone near you.
Thank you.
right,
I helped.
Y'all
a
stop
little.
stalling and take your shots.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Steve. What you
You
doing?
didn't bring a
kitten?
chaser, did you? I guess we're chasing
I'm
other
chasing
alcohol.
it with my blackberry over here. Or is it
Blueberry.
blueberry.
Y'all
Sorry.
need me to go get you a chaser? If you
No,
want
we'll
Coke
just
or
do it.
something,
No, they're
we
fine.
can.
No.
They're fine.
We're not videoing this, right?
No.
Okay, thank
Okay.
God. Okay. All right, ready?
Yep, go.
Oh,
Well, that's not bad at all.
Oh, that was really good.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
It's pleasant.
It's very honeysuckly. I wasn't expecting that. I love
You didn't even
honeysuckles.
taste it though. You
like
held
that
your
better than the
nose and
Elizabeth.
opened your throat.
We went
She's
to
weird.
the zoo the other day and we were on the train ride.
I don't know where the story is going.
Where is this going?
And there was honeysuckles, and you could
Oh.
actually smell them. And I love the smell of honeysuckles. Y'all, I'm feeling this. My face is hot.
I bet there are.
We
there
also
are people listening that don't know, like, about honeysuckles.
Yes, it smells so
It's
good.
crazy to me.
oh shit! I never. Like,
I'm
I mean,
fascinated by people that live outside of our cultural area,
Area.
that aren't used. Like, you take a honeysuckle and you pull the end off, and you can like
Suck the honey out.
Yeah.
You suck it.
It's
Well, you
not
gotta
a
pull the
honey
stem
suck
out.
it, you
Suckle.
lick it.
You gotta pull the
Whatever.
stem
You can
out.
suck it or lick it.
Calm down.
So accurate.
but you just gotta make
Calm
sure
down.
that it's not in an area where they've sprayed pesticide
Yeah.
all over
Yeah.
it.
I used to eat them in my aunt's backyard.
There's a huge honeysuckle bush behind my dad's house just over there.
We need
And
to
you
go.
go back over there and it smells like with the winds the right way, it smells just like honeysuckle everywhere back there.
They're bright yellow or white.
Yeah.
For anyone
Just
curious of what a honeysuckle
Yeah,
is.
just in case anybody's ever curious what we're talking about.
And the
Well-
yellow ones was always my favorite because I
Well,
thought they were
y'all-
sweeter. They're probably not, but I always thought
They
they
are.
were.
I think they're sweeter.
Y'all have
The
listeners
yellow
in
ones
like
are.
Australia and New Zealand. Like
Yeah.
they probably don't
They
have
don't know.
honeysuckles.
What along
Or maybe
Amber's,
they do. If you have honeysuckles in Australia, let us know. I'd like to know.
along Amber's same lines there, I think that the blue peanut M&Ms are the best.
I
Personally.
do like the blue ones too.
right.
I got
just
bought a
tastes
whole
way
bag
better.
of just blue ones once.
I like the
What?
green ones.
That's a thing.
In New York, you can get like there's a
You have to
store
go to,
and
like,
it's
the M&M store there?
literally
Yeah.
every color,
Yeah.
like even colors they don't sell in bags. So.
Wow.
Oh, is that how people do like their weddings where they want
Yeah.
specific M&Ms?
you can
and
order
Skittles and
you can
shit?
order M&Ms with your face printed on them. Like
No, I'm
they're
not.
hardcore.
I'm not that into it. I'm all right. Anyway, I'm sorry. Continue.
Okay,
Yeah,
So-
I'm sorry for delaying everyone.
it's your fault this time, Mitch. So Jenny was quoted saying she wasted many a keg of powder teaching my boys to shoot. She was very proud of that.
Was it a waste then? If she taught him?
I wouldn't think so.
Doesn't sound like
No,
a
but
waste.
you know, like she used a whole bunch of keg of powder teaching them boys to shoot. So,
So did gunpowder come in kegs back then?
Yeah, they did.
I'm totally being funny.
I was thinking the
sorry.
same thing, but I was like, I'm not going to ask that.
No, a lot of
like,
a lot of
okay,
dry
National
goods.
Treasure, Mitch. National Treasure, the mini kegs in the bottom of the Charlotte. That's a keg of
Yeah.
powder.
Yes, that is a
you
keg
go.
of powder. Thank you for bringing it back to National Treasure because we do that a lot.
That's one of my favorite movies too. So
We did not say that it was one of our favorite movies.
it is one of my favorites.
We did not say that.
Love that movie. And Mitch does a terrible Nick Cage impression that he did
Oh,
on
I-
the last one that we
I'm not doing
recorded.
it again.
I heard it.
I'm not doing it. It's too good to waste on you
We
simple
have talked
folk.
a lot. Y'all have talked a lot about Nicolas Cage. Sorry.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage is a cultural phenomenon. He's a
Yeah.
national. He is a national treasure. God damn it.
Isn't he a douchebag?
Yeah, he's definitely.
I mean,
a douchebag,
probably.
But, you know,
I mean, I hope
he's
he
still
never
a
hears
national.
And he doesn't
treasure.
pay his bills.
Wait, he owned the Laurie Mansion,
He
right?
did,
Oh,
yeah.
Shit, yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry, Nicolas Cage.
Don't sue us. We know you need the money.
You're very attractive and have pretty teeth.
You're not that attractive. He is not attractive.
You don't tell people they're ugly. That's not nice.
You can just not.
He has very pretty
You
teeth.
can just not comment on their physical appearance at all.
Okay, and why are you attracted to teeth? This is weird.
No, I don't know. I look at people's teeth.
I hope you don't look at mine.
You have pretty teeth.
Your teeth look just like Nicolas Cage's.
You got some real pretty teeth.
Don't make fun of my accent. It's not nice. They're like hoity-toity from, the big city. And I'm from the sticks. So they have a kick at it.
Can
all
we
the time.
just tell like what county you grew up in?
You don't have to because I don't live there anymore.
I think
We're
we know
talking
now.
about the county right now.
Yes, I'm from Lawrence County.
Hey.
Hey, girl.
It's
hey.
okay. We got her out of there.
I mean, I think we probably have listeners there, so
I'm just
maybe
kidding.
don't down on them.
There are plenty of people in Lawrence County that we love. We're just picking.
Just picking. You know what would be awesome is the rest of this story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get back to the story. So they all of the kids became expert killers, or all the boys. I don't really mention the girls very much because apparently they weren't important.
Well, they could have been expert killers.
They were all married off at 14.
Literally, all it really ever says about the girls is it mentions their husbands occasionally. Cool. So, yeah. Anyway,
That's so sad.
Their young husbands.
so
Excuse me.
they killed 7 of the 8 men in the home guard. The 8th one was said to have went into hiding when he found out that they were hunting them down. So, after they had most of the home guard tracked down, and I guess they decided they weren't ever going to find Mr. 8th Man. A lot of them moved to Texas, and then they became like what's known as the Brooks Gang, and they were involved in several feuds, including one with Sam Baker, who was married one of their sisters.
Is it like the Baker Boys Baker? That guy? I don't think
It's part of the
that was his name.
1902 gunfight at Spokane. Is that how you say it?
Spokane?
Spokane.
I think
There you
is
go.
it?
Yes.
Spokane?
They were part of that feud with the Brooks and McFarland feud. There's several
they
books
feuding
about it. They were like not good people. Like they stole horses from people.
Horse.
They stole all the
Horses.
whores.
They stole horses from people, and like they were just trouble raisers. And it was like in the gunslinging days, so they would rob trains and stuff.
Okay. Oh, can y'all hear the train?
No,
No,
the train
they
isn't
can't.
heard. There's a train going
okay.
by right now. We live very close to train tracks.
That's
You can hear it pretty much anywhere in Hartsville.
Yeah.
I just said where we live.
Oh, do they know that?
Well, I've got a P.O. box now,
Oh,
so.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we're good. So they were just like some rough boys, and they would like start these feuds, and then like someone would attack them, and they'd attack them back. So all the baby Henry, the one that the infant, she stuck his hand in his father and brother's blood. He moved back to take care of his mother because she was getting up in age, and was killed by the Winston County Sheriff. He was making liquor and running liquor in the mountains, so they killed him. And so all of her sons were killed by a gunshot wound, pretty much, before she died. So I think she had maybe 2 daughters outlive her, something like that. But she was proud that they died like men with their boots on.
What?
So
Okay.
she died.
If they had like flip flops at the time,
I don't think she would be proud. She would be proud they didn't have boots on. They wouldn't have had boots on.
You can have flip flops on under your boots, though.
And it works really well if you've got 3 toes.
Yeah, we learned that recently.
So she died on March 19th, 1924, at 98 years old. And her dying wish was to wash her hands with her soap dish.
Ugh.
That skull soap dish from earlier?
Calm down,
Yeah.
Ho.
She kept that sucker?
She did.
Oh, yeah.
You
Like,
think she
Do
was
we know
like?
where
was-
that, like, is the...
Well, we'll get to that.
You think she was like
Do you know some
masturbating with
stuff
it
about
or
that?
I
anything?
do.
Amber actually knows
It's fine.
family members of Aunt Jenny Johnson. So she grew up with a friend who lived down the road from her that was...
She did.
So obviously she didn't know her because she died in 1924. But,
Yes.
So,
Be a lot cooler if
so she
knew.
might be able to fill us in on a few of these things. So, and just for note, they think like all of the ghost stories are hogwash. So they don't believe in any of it. Right?
Yes.
Correct? Yeah.
That is correct.
Who doesn't?
The family members of this woman. And when you go online, you'll see which... Can we be real? It's Lawrence County.
Hey now.
Do they have the internet?
No, I mean, like, they're all related in one way or another. When you go...
I'm not inbred. My granddaddy was from Jasper. And my grandma was from Moulton.
We can be relatives, because my grandmother was from Jasper, too.
Well, we're not
That's
gonna
even
like.
weirder.
Which is Winston County, by the way.
Which also...
No, it's
me-
Walker. It's Walker, not Winston.
I was going to say, but me and Aleah are actually distant cousins, so...
Fifth, we share great grandparents.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we met in school. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't know each... Because our parents don't go to family reunions.
No.
Y'all still have family reunions?
Well, if we do, we don't go. So, I've been to one my entire life. Anyway, it was miserable, but that's another story for another day. So, where were we? Okay, soap dish.
I think Amber was going to talk.
Oh, was
but
she
I
gonna
don't
talk?
know.
I don't know. What was I going to say?
You were going to talk about your friend that knew.
She's gonna
That
get into
was
that a little
related.
bit.
Yeah, I'll
a
get
little
into
bit
that a
after we
little
get through. Okay, so
That's my
I
fault.
found her obituary. So it said, Mrs. Jenny Johnson, who lived near the northern part of Winston County over the Lawrence County line, died at her home on Sunday.
Saturday.
Saturday.
Read your notes.
Sorry, I am. Sorry. Saturday. She was the oldest woman in the county and perhaps the state at the time of her death. She was
98
buried.
was the oldest?
Apparently.
Well, they killed everybody.
You're right.
They killed everyone else in the county.
She was buried in the family graveyard near her home Sunday afternoon, the funeral being attended by a large concourse of people. And that was from the Haleyville Journal, April 3rd, 1924.
You did not just say Haleyville, did you?
Haleyville.
Haleyville. Thank you very
I
much.
have I work or used to work with a girl that's from Haleyville, and she gets so mad because everybody in the town calls it Haleyville, and she's like, it's Haleyville.
No,
I wanna
she's a
contribute-
hoity-toity. I'm sorry.
Don't say that. What is she?
I want to contribute.
I love you.
I want to contribute. Haleyville. Can you stop?
I'm sorry, it's in my way.
Haleyville is the birthplace of 911.
It is.
Yes, it is.
And Guthrie's Chicken.
Thank
Really?
Oh, praise
Thank you,
God.
Jesus.
Thank
Yes.
you so much.
Well, Guthrie's have all closed, so
No.
No,
they
there's
have
still one
not.
in Lawrence County
there
and
are like
Moulton,
3
Alabama.
that are still left.
Well, there's one
And
in
there's one in
Moulton
Coleman.
And Coleman. I love Guthrie's. Anyway, sorry.
Love their Guthrie sauce. You can also buy it in the bottle.
It's so much better than
I don't
Zaxby's.
love enough to. Yeah, I just like their sandwiches. But anyway, I'm not a big plain chicken eater, but I do.
All right, that was a tangent,
Anyway.
y'all.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Okay.
Sorry.
So now, I don't know if anyone has noticed, but I introduced her as Elizabeth Jane or Louisa Elizabeth Jane Bates, who married a Willis Brooks, but we're calling her Aunt Jenny Johnson.
Ooh.
And her tombstone is actually Johnston, because in 1884, I mean 64, I'm sorry, I'm getting my years mixed up. She remarried, which was only a year after her husband died, but I guess back then, like, you couldn't just be a single woman. She remarried Jacob Johnston, who dropped the T out of his name for, like, an unknown reason, but it wasn't legal, so, like, their tombstones still have it. So you can find her as Jenny Bates, Jenny Brooks, Jenny Johnson, and Jenny Johnston. So
There you go.
all right. So the actual, like, ghost story part of this, the original.
Oh, there's more.
Yes. So that's just the history. Sorry, this is really long.
Goodness.
Yeah, we are already at 30 minutes, y'all.
Oh my goodness.
So, the original story, I don't know if you remember this, Leah, but Miss Morrow told us this story in
Yes.
folklore, which is what we called AP kindergarten. It was a class we took it our junior year.
Uh-huh.
We were actually in separate classes, but it was the same class the same
You had
year.
a folklore class?
We
in
sure
high
did.
school?
That is amazing. We didn't have that in Lawrence County.
Mary Morrow is the reason we are doing this podcast.
I mean, it should pretty much be
We
dedicated
had to
to her.
do a unit about strange place names, which is, like, that was
Can she
sort of the
come
whole
on?
Oh,
thing.
I
Yeah,
should have
yes,
done
Bob?
that.
Yeah, strange place names was the
Can
whole
I
thing.
add one of those? Because I have one that's, like, related
Yeah,
to
do
me.
it later.
Okay, we'll put it
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, and then she told us all these ghost stories, and we had to do creepy stuff and write a little essay about stuff. I mean, like, Mary
Yeah.
Morrow's the reason we're doing this podcast.
She is
so.
like, she was the best teacher.
But I
ever.
don't think she would really appreciate us drinking.
Or
so-
cursing.
Or cursing.
Well, fuck her then.
Don't say that! You don't even know her, Amberly.
Mary Morrow is a saint.
She is. We literally took the class. Most people take it their senior year because it's such a fun class. We took it our junior year because we thought she was retiring that year. And then she stayed another year. We could have took it our senior years, but
So you didn't take it 2 years, you just took it one?
you can always take it one. It's just like a one
That
course.
stinks.
Yeah,
It
but
does stink. Again,
But you
I
tell
reiterate, fuck her.
superstitions. You tell superstitions and fun stories. Anyway,
I apologize.
so this
I
was
didn't
the
mean it.
first time that I had heard this story, and then when I met Amber, I actually found out that she had been there. Like
Several
apparently that was
times.
like what they did on weekends for fun.
Because
So
Lawrence County.
yeah, you have kids and go
Yeah, I was
ghost
gonna
hunting.
say you're either fucking or you're going to the haunted house.
Hey, I was a graduate. Thank you very much. There were several. There were several.
A
She
graduate of the fucking.
graduated before
and the-
she got pregnant. Is what she's saying.
Oh.
She got pregnant after she graduated,
Yes.
I didn't
like
know-
the week after,
I didn't
but
know what you were a graduate from at all, but it was.
it's okay. We have two beautiful boys, and I love them.
Yes, we do.
Oh man, that was fun.
So
Anyway,
back to the story. So she had there was a house on her home place or whatever. So the story was you pulled in the driveway and you flashed your lights and she would like pull back the curtain. You flashed your lights again and she would like open the door.
Aunt Jenny Johnson.
Yes,
Yes,
the
Johnson.
ghost. The ghost.
Excuse me.
yes.
And then you flashed them again, she would step onto the porch. You flashed them again, she'd stand in front of your car, and the last time you flashed them, she would get in the car with you.
Hell no.
That was like the creepiest story I remember hearing in folklore.
Hell no.
Like creeped
Oh,
me
so
out. And then
you already knew that.
yes, I was told that in
Oh,
11th grade,
okay.
and then you start like what 4 years ago you're telling me about this place
Yeah,
called
yeah.
y'all are just Aunt Jenny's, and I didn't remember like the entire story, but I knew that much of it, and you're like, yeah, that's where it is. But some hoodlums burned the house down in 2005.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like a
it's
couple.
gone.
It was the weekend, like the Halloween weekend. It was a few days before Halloween, but it was like when everybody was celebrating Halloween.
And I don't think they ever found out who actually done it. There's several
Amberly knows who did it.
speculations. But I'm not going to turn anybody in because I don't know for sure. I wasn't there.
We went to church with their grandmother. Anyway.
Which is a wonderful
thickens.
woman.
Yeah, she's precious. I've actually never met the person who Amber thinks did it, so I can't
She
actually
didn't
speak.
cause the fire.
No.
She didn't start the fire.
It's always been-
So,
sorry.
and then in the graveyard, so when you're going up the mountain, there is a graveyard off to the right, and then her house is further on the left. And if you're ever actually curious about where this place is, it's near Kinloch. Like, that's the only way you can really find it. Is find where Kinloch Falls is in Bankhead, and it'll get you pretty close.
That's on the Southern Spirits podcast tour. You can find it on the map that we're putting out.
Yeah. So, anyway, so the other thing is in the graveyard, which people are like such dickheads and like have stolen her headstone
Several times.
They've actually just like put a cement one down like on
Like
the
a
ground.
slab.
Yeah, because people keep stealing it. But you see orbs in the graveyard, supposedly like green ones. I've actually seen a green orb in the graveyard before. So
Like
that
on
was
film or like physically?
physically with my
physically.
eyes. There's also, well, I'll let Amber tell that story. There's other stuff in the graveyard.
How
But I wanna-
high were you?
Not high,
at
not
all.
drunk at all.
I was with a
I was
church group,
always
and
the
we-
DD.
You did not drive that time. We were with a church group, and we prayed the entire way going up the mountain.
To see an orb?
Because we're, me and Amberly grew up, like, non-denominational, so we're, like, the crazy, like, talking tongues, like, praying kind of people. So we prayed the entire way up the mountain because we were...
How do you
Terrified.
feel about snakes?
Terrified.
No, we do not talk to snakes.
Why are we talking about
Alright.
snakes?
She's talking about the snake charmer.
The handlers.
The
Oh, no,
handlers,
no, no.
Now, the church
Okay.
that I grew up in, way, way, way before my time, probably in this time, was actually a snake handling church.
Hell no.
Yes, I was mowing the graveyard because me and my dad used to mow the graveyard up there, and some man stopped by and was asking me questions and was like, "Yeah, back in my day, we handled snakes up here." And I was like,
no,
We don't do
no.
that here, sir.
"The fuck, no."
No, sir.
Listen, sir.
So anyway, no. We don't do snakes. We just
All right.
pray in tongues. There you go.
Cool.
So, now, before I let Amber tell her stories, I am gonna say I found this article. I'm like 99.5% sure that it's fake, but I tried to look up like the website and see if it was like, oh, because Malton has like a fake news Facebook page.
It's really funny.
They post like goofy stories and like make fun of themselves and stuff. So I was thinking like that's what this was, but I actually couldn't find anything, and it's just like a WordPress, so it's like somebody's blog. But I'm just gonna read you what it says. So it was the title of the article is Ghost of Aunt Jenny Johnson Shops at Haleyville Piggly Wiggly Church Protest.
What?
So, which Haleyville is like on further out, isn't it?
Yes. it
Yeah,
is.
okay. Anyway, it says this was
Say
like
that one more time because you kind of got tongue-tied. I'm
Ghost
confused.
of Aunt Jenny Johnson
Uh-huh.
shops at Haleyville Piggly Wiggly Church Protest. Like that's the title and like the URL.
She's going shopping.
Just listen.
Wait,
I'm
okay.
99.5% sure. Like probably 99.9. There's like a 0.1% I'm like, maybe. But this is like a little expert from it. It says, her ghost has been seen several times in the last 20 years at the Haleyville Piggly Wiggly, just south of her Bankhead Forest home.
Wait, how in the world does she even know that they have a Piggly Wiggly?
Would you listen
So
to
I
this
think- I
though?
think
Just
she was
listen.
we'll get there.
Anyway.
One employee told us it really just depends on
Oh
what
my
we
God.
have on sale.
Oh, if the kegs of gunpowder is on sale, you bet your butt she's going to be there.
Okay. But
Oh my God.
it could be true because have you ever seen my grandmother with a sale on Kroger? Like she has so many freezers just because if it's on sale, she's gonna buy a shit ton of it and stockpile it in that freezer.
My mom was an extreme couponer once.
Yeah.
I understand.
We have gobs and gobs of, what is it, okra?
That has nothing to do.
Her mom calls us like, you got any room in your freezer? And we've got like 40 bags of bagged okra.
That has nothing to do with the sale. Someone let them come pick it, so they spent like a
It
month.
wasn't a sale. It was free. The best sale is free.
Okay, that's true.
Duh.
We do
Oh
have
my
like
God.
40. If y'all
I
need
do all the
okra,
grocery shopping in the house, y'all. I'm just saying.
That has nothing to do with anything. She's my housewife.
Gladly.
No, that's what she wants to be. Don't give me that look.
Absolutely.
Jesus.
Anyway, let me see if I can get through this. Okay, my mother really does. Like, I don't even want her to know I have a freezer because she's all the time like, "Can you put this in your freezer?" Anyway, okay. One employee told us it really just depends on what we have on sale, whether we see her or not. And she's always got a ton of coupons.
How does she know what a coupon is?
Hush! I told you it's fake.
It's gotta be.
The Westboro Baptist Church has even been known to protest her showing up uninvited.
That's not-
holding up
uh-uh.
signs which read, "God hates ghosts," or "Your son died because of gays in the Confederacy."
Okay.
is
This
ridiculous.
100%
It
fake.
is. It is.
Somebody
but
who's like, I have a great idea.
But there's like a whole article with like a picture of the Piggly Wiggly and everything. I saved
It's
the URL.
not an
Oh
article,
my.
though. It's
Oh
not.
my.
It's a blog post.
I
It's a
can
fake
find
blog
you a
This
post.
was
picture
wrote
of
in
Piggly Wiggly.
2012 also.
Y'all, Aleah is incredibly gullible. I'm gonna have
I
to
didn't
put
say
that
I
out
believe
there.
it. I'm just saying I
No.
couldn't find anything that discredited the website.
Has the
I know
Westboro
it's
Baptist
fake.
Church ever come to North Alabama?
No, I mean
Probably.
probably to protest the gays, but
I was gonna say they're probably protesting your wedding.
I mean,
once they listen to
hey,
this.
hey, they clapped. Those people driving by in boats clapped. The next door neighbor drilled something in the wall, but they clapped.
It was a beautiful wedding.
Thank you.
And Mitch had a glitter rainbow beard.
It was glorious.
I did. I forgot about that.
Anyway,
I don't know
okay.
how I forgot about it.
So that's the end of my notes. What story do you want to start with, Amberly?
Oh, okay. There's a couple.
Okay, I want to hear. Let's start with the graveyard because I think like
This
that's
is not a mini
the least.
No, it's not.
I warned Leah. Did I not warn you? This was going to be really long.
I mean,
This is an episode. This will be
Yeah.
out in 4 Sundays.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
no, it'll be a minisode. It's a sampler. You never know what you're gonna get. It
And
could
you're
be
getting a
10
long
minutes.
fucking
You're getting a
episode.
whole episode.
Hell yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
what story do you want to tell?
I would like to hear about the drums in the graveyard. That's the first thing. I want
Oh, okay.
Did Jenny Johnson play drums?
you to tell.
No, there's
Did
actually
fucking rip off a face melter?
There's actually tales that some Indian tribes go up there and like do whatever they do.
Native American tribes.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
sorry.
politically correct.
Politically
I'm
correct.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm horrible at political
I'm
correctness.
yes, I'm so yeah. So thank you for correcting me. Anyway,
You're welcome.
so I was there with one of my best friends, and there was 2 guys with us. They were brave enough to get out of the vehicle. No, we were not having sex. There's a story about that too.
Oh, God. It does not involve her.
This does not involve me. Okay. But anyway, so they were outside looking at all the graveyard whatevers, and
What is a graveyard, whatever?
all the tombstones.
It's literally just like, if you've ever been in Bankhead, there are graveyards everywhere up there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an old country cemetery. Other than the fact that like ghost shit happens there. It's just like any other old country cemetery in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
Which sounds really rare, but like
It's not.
they're all over the arsenal.
They're
Yeah.
all over everywhere.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we stayed in the car because we're chickens, and
She likes to call it chicken dinky.
yeah. So anyway, because we thought we'll stay in the car because it's safe here. Okay. So anyway,
Because the ghost can't go through the car
exactly.
Gets in the car with
Mind you, I'm 16 years old,
All right.
maybe 17 when this
Probably
happens.
lying about where she is.
Well, anyway, so
Grandma doesn't listen, does she?
no, Grandma doesn't listen, but I don't think I was lying. But anyway, so we are inside the car. They are outside scouring, looking to see if they can find
Provoke
anything.
something.
Provoking, yes. So we start hearing drums. Tiffany also goes to the same church that Aleah and I grew up in, or kind of church. So we immediately start speaking in tongues, screaming bloody murder, because we hear these drums.
in tongues?
No, you're not supposed to.
You say cuss words.
But I was terrified.
You're
Jesus, please help me. Then you speak in tongues, and then you get scared and cuss. Like, it was so horrible. So anyway, we're hearing the tribal drums.
Though.
Y'all, I grew up Baptist. We
Me and Leah grew. Me and Amber grew up like different worlds than Leah or Mitch.
completely
Yeah.
different, y'all.
So yeah, like they don't even believe in tongues, and we're over here like laying on the floor, crying our faces out, just speaking another language
Yes,
that we don't understand.
exactly.
But you weren't cussing in tongues.
I never
No.
cussed in tongues.
God damn it.
Just saying.
Oh, don't say that one. That's the really bad one. So anyway,
What is it in one of your tongues, though?
I don't know.
You don't say cuss words in the tongues. You insert cuss words in the middle of speaking tongues.
Yeah.
The cuss words are in English.
Yeah. So anyway, so we're in the car and we start hearing the drums, scared to death. The guys are just like, lollygagging, whatever. And I sound the alarm and start flashing the lights, like trying to signal them to come back to the car. And they were like, what in the world is wrong with y'all? And I'm like, do y'all not hear those drums? So the drums are inside the car. The sound of the drums was inside the car. And they weren't outside the car. So that's the
Are you sure
that's
you
the
didn't
story.
have your
Yeah,
radio
the
on?
radio.
The radio was not on. The car
Okay.
was not
Not
cranked
turned on.
or
Okay.
cranked.
Crunk.
Crunk.
No, the car wasn't crunk. Car wasn't crunk.
But I'm almost positive the keys were in the ignition because I'm not that brave. But anyway, that's that story.
Yes. And then tell about the one where she followed you down the mountain. That's probably the best story you have, right?
Yeah.
That's probably the craziest one you have.
Yeah.
So let's hear that one.
Okay. So
This was literally like when I say she on the weekends, they drove up to Bankhead and would like Amber would DD and whoever was with her would drink in the car and they would ride around
Yeah.
and go looking for ghosts and shit. Apparently,
Yeah.
not really looking for ghosts, but they would frequently go to Aunt Jenny's.
well, that night, it was a whole group of us, carload. We had went up there, trying to conjure up whatever we could find, which is not a good idea. If you go looking, you will find. But anyway,
I want to go looking now.
but anyway, so we go up there, and when you're on your way up there, the whole atmosphere changes.
Can I interject right here?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so when you're going up there, you're on a paved road, and when you turn on the road out, it turns to a gravel road.
Yes, and it's super, super eerie.
And you can literally feel the difference between the gravel road and the paved road.
Yes, and
the
it's like a
presence.
30-minute drive from there.
Sure, it's not just the bumpy car that you're feeling?
No. So we get up there, and that night we seen all kinds of stuff. We seen the green orbs. and it was, people was like, oh, you know, there's some kind of mushroom, if you step on them, that it poofs out. No. No. Like, it's crazy. It was not lightning bugs. It was not whatever mushrooms that people talk about. I don't even know if that's actually real or not, but whatever. No, these were floating orbs, and they were circling the car. Yeah. And then, like, I actually had the nerve to get out that night. And we are all outside of the vehicle, and you see this, like, kind of an apparition, but not. It's just kind of like a white silhouette.
I would call it an apparition.
I guess,
Yeah.
right? Okay. All right. But it wasn't like, you couldn't really see, like, the details of her face or whatever.
That's what an apparition is.
Okay. All right. So, anyway, thank
I
you.
wasn't trying to be sarcastic. I was just...
Okay. So, anyway, so we hurry up and get in the car. And actually, I think we're in 2 carloads that night. So, anyway, so we hurry up and get in the car. Yeah. I don't even get in the right car. I get in a pickup truck with 2 other people, not even with, like, the people that I originally came with. So, anyway, so
Just some strangers, or-
No, I knew these people.
Okay.
But anyway, so we are headed down the mountain, 30-minute drive down, and you literally see her hovering over the vehicle. Like, how did I explain? Yes.
Or in the rearview mirror.
Like, in the rearview mirror, you can see her, and she's just, like,
Gliding
behind us. Like,
So is it sort of like a fog that has a human form kind
yes,
of thing?
kind
is it
of.
wide, or is it very, like, contained in, like, the shape of a human?
It's in the shape of a human. But, like, it's like she has a dress on, so it's kind of flowy.
So it's like the cliche woman in a white dress apparition.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yes, and she stayed following behind us until we got to the gravel, or until we got off the gravel onto the pavement. So that's it.
Everybody just wait.
But, yes, I mean, it's very, very, very scary in the moment. And we'll have to take y'all one night.
I'm down.
There is another short story about supposedly there were a couple up there getting
yes.
it on, and she got in the car with them, and
Oh.
he got out of the car, took the fuck off, and left her there.
Left her butt naked
in the car.
Okay.
Aunt
with
Jenny
her.
Johnson.
Shenanigans. Who takes all of their clothes off to have sex in a car?
I don't know.
So is it debunked just because nobody takes their car?
If
That's
you're
a fair
becoming
point.
butt ass naked in a car,
That's a fair
It's
point.
debunked because car sex is a movie trope. It is 0% possible with one male and one female. At least a bigger male and a bigger female.
Well, they were in high school.
So they probably
Yeah.
weren't, or they could have been, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they
It's-
weren't an SUV. I
No.
don't know.
I don't
No,
believe it.
I'm pretty sure it was a little sports car.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
But
probably
anyway.
the best ones.
Yeah.
rock on.
Well,
It is creepy
Aaliyah
as
said
fuck out
she
there.
had a fun place name, so give us a fun place name.
So, this was one that I think Leah had on her list. Arab, Alabama? Mm-mm. Oh, I thought we said we had. So, okay. The name was supposed to be called Arad, Alabama, after Arad Thompson. So he sent it in to get this town named, and it was... He misspelled it. Or they misread it, one or the other. And it became Arab, Alabama, which everybody thinks is...
Arab.
Arab, Alabama.
It's spelled A-R-A-B.
Yes.
I work in Marshall County, and they pronounce it Arab.
Arab. My dad is from Arab. Very familiar with it. And actually, his mother came from the Thompson line, so he was probably my ancestor. I'm gonna claim it anyway. So it's a very short one, but not as interesting as some
Well,
of
there
Leah's,
you
but
go.
there you go.
No. Slap Out was probably my favorite.
Yeah, Slap Out's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Never been there.
Well, I've been to Slap Out.
There's not much to it. It's-
Because there's slap out of everything.
I mean, unless you're just really interested in like 2 traffic lights,
No, there's nothing in Slap Out at
we're
all.
good.
At all. Well, we have anything else to get through?
Oh, I have one more thing. I forgot.
Oh, there's
so
more.
at her house, well, what used to be her house because it got burnt down. You can still go there and park And on a full moon night, you can see a noose hanging from the tree.
Our pastor, who
No
was
thanks.
actually Amber's aunt, at one time, we took the whole church. Apparently, we're awesome church folk because we just go ghost hunting.
It was
which is-
a ladies' meeting.
It was a ladies' meeting. We took a truckload of people. Half of us were in the back, and they parked on top of the house. And they told us afterwards, because they kind of got creeped out. We left in a hurry, but we were in the back, so we didn't know what was going on. But she said the locks inside the car were like going on and off. So
That's enough
There you
creepy.
go.
Yeah.
That's
Jenny
good.
Johnson.
I have to live in this house tonight. You know that?
Well,
Well, let's just hope that you're not descendants from the last guy that's
what?
on the loose.
The eighth man.
The
that
eighth
didn't
man,
get
y'all.
shot.
Okay. All
shit,
right
yeah.
then.
Maybe that's why you get chased down the mountain. Maybe you're a descendant of the eighth man, Amberly.
What was his last name?
I don't know. It didn't give any of
We
their
don't know his
names.
name, so we very well might be.
Yeah, you might be.
Oh
Wait,
my!
is it everyone in Lawrence County related to him?
We've already had this conversation.
Well,
No,
this minisode is
a long
Extra
sode.
sode.
It's
The-
a maxi-sode.
this is a full episode. So y'all enjoy an extra full episode this week, I guess, whenever this is coming out. Whenever I have time to edit an entire episode.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I warned you. I told you it was gonna be long.
Oh God. Well, it is what it is. Do we have anything else to? No poem.
No.
Y'all didn't make a
You didn't
toast?
come up with a toast?
Oh
poem.
no,
True
we didn't
love?
ask you to. It's fine.
Yes.
We didn't
All
ask
right,
you.
to true love.
We'll just
True love.
toast to Aunt Jenny Johnson's true love with her soap dish. Rolls.
Go wash your hands, y'all.
Well, thank y'all for listening to the first Southern Sampler.
Woo!
Thanks to Aleah and Amberly for coming by and
You're
telling us
welcome.
a very short story. And I guess that's it for this episode. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna wrap it up.
Do you wanna give them your?
Oh yeah, we're gonna do it. Thanks for listening to the Southern Spirits podcast. Please like us on Facebook and Instagram and follow us there at Southern Spirits Podcast. Also on Pinterest at Southern Spirits Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at S Spirits Podcast. If you have any of these fun personal stories like we just heard now, or if you have any fun alcohols around you that I should try, send us an email at southernspiritspodcast@gmail.com. We have a P.O. box now, so you can send us fun postcards, from some weird places. Leah, what is that post office box? Do you know?
It's P.O. Box 1743, Hartselle, Alabama. That's spelled Hartselle, Alabama, 35640.
And that's it for us. Thanks for listening to this first Southern Sampler.
Bye, y'all!